Good morning, everybody. It is Freaky Friday here on BCB Live. Drive safe, Dave, along with Buckle Up Bob. Bob, what?
Good
First of
morning.
all, awesome shirt. A little bit of color going on today. I kind of like the. Can you tell me about that sweatshirt? Is that just something you got, or is that something you got while you're on vacation?
Yeah, we got it when we went this past April when we went to Panama City Beach.
You do a lot of
Panama
surfing,
City.
do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
I just grab a shark and ride it.
There's a guy, there's a Chinese, all over the YouTube, big news. There's a Chinese man who has banned from an all-you-can-eat buffet because he eats too much. And they have banned this guy. They said this guy can drink, not only does he eat all of the shrimp on the plate, he gets it by the plateful, but he can drink 20 bottles of the soy milk. What's up with that? When I know the soy milks are in little bottles, but 20 of them?
Soy milk, first of all.
I don't. It's Chinese food. I think soy milk's a staple, right?
Soy milk's not that bad. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it, but
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know if I can drink 20 bottles of anything, at one sitting at a buffet where I'm also eating a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna probably say me and Budweiser have probably gone the 20 bottle count on a night. No
On a
problem.
night. Yeah, but probably you're probably talking about 4 hours.
I'm
3
telling
hours.
you, with a quarter in a small glass, I've probably been there, buddy. I probably.
Then you were drinking more than Budweiser. If you're doing a quarter and a small glass, and you were drinking something besides.
That's pretty. All you can eat. My deal is if you put all you can eat, you take yourself at risk, right?
That's right.
I mean, right, producer, right, Bob?
Yeah.
If you're an all you can eat buffet, you take the good with the bad. Nobody's giving refunds because they only eat a little bit, right?
That's right.
He's not handing out. Yeah, go ahead, producer.
And what I think is interesting about this, and I didn't even realize this before I went back into the story, so they're also banning live streamers from the buffet as well, which is interesting because there's a lot of people who are streaming themselves just eating a lot, and that's like a whole community of people on YouTube and on Twitch is just people streaming themselves or putting up videos of them eating massive amounts of food. And I guess maybe this person was also streaming themselves eating, and they're just trying to cut out people eating all their food for views and stuff on YouTube and on Twitch and all these other streaming platforms. So crazy stuff. Really weird world that we're living in right now.
First of all, you ban somebody from showing yourself eating, it's got to be China, right? It's got to be some anti-party, something wrong with it.
I don't know if that's an anti-party thing more so than it's like, hey, stop eating all of our food, please.
John Deere and the UAW, Bob, they have reached an agreement. So those guys are going to go back to work across the country. They have plants out of Des Moines, right there in Detroit. I know they got a couple of more around the country, but those guys are going to go back to work, which is good news.
That is great news because I was actually a representative in a union many years ago, and nobody ever wins in a strike. You never get that money back. It's like time. You heard Sir Rick talk about once it's gone, you're out 3 or 4 weeks. No matter what you get, you still lost 3 or 4
I know.
weeks.
No, they've been out for almost 2 months, right? Isn't that right? They've been out for a long time,
Absolutely.
8 weeks or something like that.
Great news.
So they're all going back to work. They reached an agreement yesterday. Fantastic news. And also talking about new emphasis on educating the new drivers, right? New schools in place. And what's really fascinating is the implementation of this 18 to 20-year-old that's going to be able to get their license after a certain number of experience time. They're going to be allowing that to cross state lines. And that goes along with this new package, this new deal that they've come along, and they're going to allow this, which is very fascinating in order to get the truck drivers back into the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I'll tell you, not only that, there's a big push. What was an article out the other day that allowed, tell me, do you remember, almost 113,000 new hires in trucking drivers alone? And that before the years before that, it was only around 45,000. And they're seeing this huge surge of people going to work in the trucking industry.
Well, I think that's great, and I hope that it brings in more people. And I know that young drivers are always scary. Trust me, we've all been there. And I mean, my brother just turned 17. I know young drivers are scary, but I think the more that we bring in a younger crowd into the trucking world, the more we'll be able to invest in our future with trucking. And, if you give people this experience early and really give them that trucking bug as they get going early on, we'll have more people who are going to rally for it, more people who are going to support it and want to bring in their friends and family to be a part of the trucking community. And I think it's only a good thing.
I do too, and I'm gonna emphasize this way. But I want you to see this and then tell me exactly what to do. Watch this, Bob. Watch this video. There it is. Do you see anything in the road?
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that. And wow, a few issues, problems. And look at that. What do you do? What is it you do there? I mean,
well, apparently you kill about 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah, we talk about training young drivers to expect the
Watch
unexpected.
that video again.
What do
We
you
got
do?
a problem here. We got a couple running from us here, getting out of the way. Let's run a little bit. And the wall. Oh my
It looked
God.
like there was a war between herding flocks, right? Because they were running at each other.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot
Wow.
going on there. That is insane. That should be a training video in and of itself. And because of that, and in regards to that,
We just see this so often anymore. It's just kind of scary. Drivers in this video doing nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're going to see a car passing on the shoulder again. Isn't it crazy the number of times we're seeing that lately? And I don't know if people are just, now that there's more traffic, that they're in bigger hurry or what the deal is. But we just have to be patient. And just, mind our space and our speeds and let the crazies be crazy and back away from them when we see something like this.
Yeah, I'd love to see if the driver could see that person coming up on the shoulder. Because again, one of the things we want to do is just hone our skills. And what I see when that thing goes there is, should this driver in the left lane back off a little bit? Because what if that car loses control, right?
Yep.
And hits that truck? They're not going to hit this truck in the left lane. They're going to hit the one on the right, but this driver's right there, and could they have been in a bad situation based on, you got an idiot already. So what if that's a loose shoulder, or he hits the edge of the shoulder and loses control, spins out in front of that truck? And again, if you don't know it's over there, absolutely, why would you change speed? But kind of always remember that, hey, think about what if, and if that thing hits this truck, do you have an out? And I don't know, it's hard to see on the left, but it's not going to be a safe out. Let's put it that way.
No. And that's interesting you said, I always have an out, because that's, we're looking at right here as we're going down this and we see a disabled vehicle on the side of the road, and we really don't get over for it, and we don't seem to be slowing down much for it. So, I mean, because there may be traffic along that side, but what's the safest thing to do? Probably there is just to start backing off, and so you can safely move over and allow some space between that disabled vehicle alongside the road. See so many times where people just step out in front of a vehicle in front of their disabled without looking, and so we always want to slow down and give them as much room as possible.
Terrific point. Many times when drivers are telling me what happened and that they couldn't have done this, and if I do, and a lot of times I'll just ask, what happens if you just stopped or if you just slowed down? And they said, well, it probably wouldn't have happened. Yes, I understand on the interstate that yes, the argument is, well, something could happen behind you. Okay, you can't control everything. What you can control is you've got a distressed vehicle here at a merge point. Just slow it down. I'm not saying stop, but really back out of that.
And it
Producer, did we have
also,
somebody?
I was going to mention, it also looks like the distressed vehicle on the side of the road looks like it's trying to start moving again. If you take a look at where the position is right here, and then if you look in the mirror as the truck proceeds, it looks like it's moving over into that merge point to get back on the highway. So this truck was also trying to move into the lane that we're in, but sees us coming too fast and just decides to go into the right merge point instead of getting a safer merge onto the highway.
Good point there.
Great point.
And yes, and again, what I do want to say is this driver did the right thing staying in their lane. I really think the only option here was to slow it down, drop it 10 or 15 miles an hour, just to be able, because if something goes wrong, you take some of the speed out of the equation. And we already know 10 miles an hour increases by 20 to 30%, a better improvement of the situation, whatever it would have been.
Yep. Right here, we just have to learn to keep our speed and our space and our management. We get too close here, and I think back earlier this week, I think we saw one where we ran over a mattress, and so when we get this close up and we can't see if there's road debris, if there's debris on the road there, we need to have more space. And so if that car takes an evasive move and there is debris, we don't end up running over it like earlier in the week when we saw that truck run over a mattress. So we really have to focus on our speed and our space and back off when we get too close like that. This one here is a really interesting video, and I don't know if the truck's a bobtail or not, because we see the sign that says 50 feet between track and stoplight. And so the driver is definitely slowed down here, crosses the first line where you would stop if the light was green or if the light was yellow or red, but he gets onto the railroad tracks, and that's when the light actually changes. So, if you look at, if he's only got 50 feet and he's got a trailer behind him and he's going straight, the only choice he really has is to go. And so it's interesting to see if he has a bobtail. That's just a tough intersection right there.
Yeah, and we've talked over and over again. Since these are dangerous, and now you throw the variable of a railroad crossing, you have to slow down and be prepared to stop. I mean, that's why this driver could not stop. They weren't planning on stopping. They were planning on green light, hurry up, because you can see, watch all the bouncing. Now, you don't know, that tracks looks pretty rough, so what did you do to the truck, right? Underneath, the suspensions, the tires, the rims, everything is affected because you just didn't want to stop.
Here's one, I think, tons of traffic, and I love showing videos like this. He's packed his patience, he's just slowed down, he's keeping the space. Just a great job by the driver in this video of, just keeping the space, slowing down, comes to a stop. We see the pavement in between the vehicle ahead of us. So just a great job. I mean, you get in a hurry there, you go nowhere faster. And so, I mean, it's just do the safest thing and keep that space.
Good point.
And here, we talk a lot about slowing down, moving down. Driver does a great job of slowing down and moving over for it, because I didn't really catch it the first time I watched it, but there's a disabled vehicle, that gray van sitting there, so it's really a good thing. Again, you never know when somebody's going to step out in front of a vehicle like that, so a great job of keeping the speed way down and getting over for it.